Zootopia, where predators and prey live in harmony and sing Kumbaya.
Coming through!
This is Officer McQuarrie. We got a 1031.
I got dibs!
Happy birthday.
They're all sloths?
Have you ever watched Zootopia and thought it was just a regular kids' movie? Think again. Behind this bright world, full of cute animals, lies dark theories, hidden social commentary, and deep Easter eggs about racism, power, and even trauma. In this video, we're going to break it all down. So, make sure you stay until the end. Zootopia deals with some heavy themes: racism, institutional discrimination, microaggressions, and even political corruption. One of the most striking moments is when Judy says something about predator DNA, and that single line triggers social tension to explode in Zootopia.
Are they all different species? Yes, something in their DNA.
Zootopia isn't just a friendly city of animals. The film is widely seen as a critique of racism, stereotypes, and identity politics. Predators versus prey are often interpreted as a metaphor for real-world discrimination and racial stereotypes. Some groups are labeled as dangerous, while others are considered safe. For example, when the prey population suddenly erupts into panic, as predators lose control, it mirrors how societies polarize in real life. Then there's Judy Hopps, the ambitious little bunny. She has to prove herself much harder than others to be accepted. Many interpret this as a message about how minorities often have to work twice as hard just to be recognized. The takeaway: Zootopia delivers a powerful message: a fair world can't exist without confronting systemic bias. The film shows how fear can be weaponized politically. When people are scared, leaders or certain actors can manipulate public opinion for their own gain. That opens the door for restricting or oppressing entire groups. Zootopia is basically saying, it's not about who's stronger, it's about who can manipulate your fear. In short, the film uses the animal world to make audiences, even kids, reflect on how prejudice works in society. It's not just a moral about chasing your dreams, but also a subtle critique of social structures. Now, let's move to Nick Wilde. The sarcastic, cunning, funny yet deeply wounded character. His childhood was full of bullying. He was even muzzled during a scout ceremony. That moment wasn't just sad, it was the blueprint of his trauma. But what if Nick didn't become an antihero? What if he turned into a true villain, or even a radical leader for predators? In the early draft of the story, the writers actually made Nick the main character, in a much darker version, before flipping the focus to Judy as the protagonist. That proves the movie almost had a much darker version of how trauma can polarize someone. This theory opens up an interesting discussion: does every predator have the potential to go down a dark path if society keeps defining them that way? Repeated trauma shapes how someone relates to the world, and for Nick, he chose humor and trickery as survival mechanisms. From a narrative psychology perspective, childhood humiliation build formation of a defensive identity, then make mastering the system through deception and survival. That explains why Nick is sly, but also extremely sensitive to injustice. Trauma shaped his moral ambiguity. So, who's really pulling the strings in Zootopia? There's a cynical theory that Bellwether, the little sheep, the gentle assistant mayor, who suddenly becomes the mastermind of the crisis, isn't actually the strongest villain. Maybe it's the unseen system, and elites, corrupt bureaucracy, manipulating everything behind the scenes. If Bellwether is just a pawn, then who else benefited from all the chaos? The film drops hints: panicky officials, reactionary police, and sensationalist media. This can be read as a critique of how systems allow someone to exploit public fear to gain power. Imagine if the predator's mysterious illness wasn't random, but political manipulation. That theory is disturbing, but it fits perfectly with the movie's logic. It's the classic pattern: a manufactured crisis, used to justify the centralization of power. Bellwether, despite appearing weak, uses victim rhetoric and promises of safety to consolidate authority. So, when you put it all together, stereotypes, individual trauma, and political manipulators, Zootopia is teaching us one thing: fear chains can be weaponized for political gain. The film reminds us to be skeptical of safe versus dangerous narratives that are twisted for power. What signals did you notice in the movie? Drop your theories in the comments, I'll read the best ones in the next video. Zootopia is packed with Easter eggs, making it one of Disney's most layered films. In Tundra Town, there are two little elephants, dressed up like Elsa and Anna, a tiny nod to Frozen. Duke Weaselton's name is almost identical to Duke of Weselton from Frozen. Duke also sells pirated DVDs, Pig Hero 6, Wrangled, Wreck-It Rhino, Meowana, Giraffic, Floats in 2, parodies of Big Hero 6, Tangled, Wreck-It Ralph, Moana, Gigantic, and Frozen 2. Hidden Mickeys show up in Clawhouser's stuff, a stroller toy, Bogo's calendar, and even Phoenix van antenna. At Jumbo's Cafe, there are plates with patterns, matching Anna's bedroom wallpaper in Frozen. On Phoenix van, you can spot Baymax Big Hero 6, and Maui's fish hook Moana, proof animators love cross-references. Judy's grandpa, Pop Pop, looks a lot like Carl from Up, probably an intentional inside joke. You might have wondered, why is the movie called Zootropolis in the UK, and Zoomania in Germany? The answer is simple: branding and trademark law. Disney couldn't register Zootopia in certain regions because other companies had already trademarked the name. Sometimes even local zoos or existing products. To avoid legal issues, Disney rebranded the title for those markets. So no, it wasn't about changing the story or plot, it was purely a legal and marketing move.
Bunny, Fox! This is a make or break assignment.
Wilde and Hobbs. The dream team.
Stop in the name of the law!
I'm weird. I have to help my family. Cannonball!
The trailer and official synopsis reveal that a mysterious snake, named Gary Snake, arrives in Zootopia, shaking up the city, and forcing Judy and Nick to face a case unlike anything they've handled before. This time, the sequel expands into brand new districts, Marsh Market, a semi-aquatic zone, with animals like hippos and beavers, desert areas, and other fresh landscapes, never shown in the first movie. Returning voices include Judy Hopps, Nick Wilde, Chief Bogo, Gazelle, Mr. Big, and even Bellwether. New characters include Gary the Snake and Dr. Fuzzby, a quirky quokka therapist. An interesting new angle: Judy and Nick attend partner counseling sessions to work through their conflicts.
Welcome to Partners in Crisis. Talked about that. What are we making Merlin? And Francine. Clark may be a mouse, but...
Well, we've been official partners for...
Adding more emotional depth and maturity to their dynamic. Of course, fans have already gone wild with theories. Some believe Gary Snake isn't truly the villain, maybe he's being framed, or someone else is pulling the strings to exploit predator-prey tensions. Others speculate Judy and Nick's bond will be tested like never before. Not just as partners, but also personally, facing past trauma, clashes between idealism versus pragmatism, and maybe even temporary separation. There's a strong theory that discrimination themes will expand, not just predator versus prey, but now including reptiles, who have been largely absent from the first film. Reptiles might be viewed as dangerous or dark by other groups. But the biggest fandom buzz comes from one small trailer detail. A mysterious hooded figure, with glowing eyes, appearing for just a split second. Who is this figure? Disney hasn't given any answers, but theories are exploding. A new villain, more powerful than Bellwether, a true mastermind in the shadows. A representative of other marginalized species, like reptiles, hidden away from society. Or, the wildest theory, that this isn't a character at all, but a personification of collective trauma, fear itself given a physical form. That one shot is enough to hype the sequel into something darker and more political. In the first film, we saw the real face of the villain. But in the sequel, Disney might give us something more abstract, an unseen force, invisible but shaping society, from the shadows. The tension isn't just predator versus prey anymore, it could be the visible versus the hidden. When dark theories and Easter eggs collide, new questions pop up. Is Zootopia really a kids' movie? With themes of racism, gender discrimination, and corruption. It's much deeper than it looks. Many fans also ship Judy and Nick. Will they finally get together in Zootopia 2? Predictions say their relationship could become more intimate, maybe fueled by past trauma or the city's worsening system. And predator versus prey equals humans versus what? It could symbolize interracial struggles, or even ideological conflicts, in today's world. Beyond the theories and debates, Zootopia is a movie that makes us think that an ideal world isn't just a pretty picture, but the result of challenging broken systems. If you've got other theories, maybe an Easter egg we missed, or a crazy dark idea, share them in the comments. And don't forget, hit like, subscribe, and share if you want more Zootopia 2 breakdowns when it comes out. See you in the next video.